Thank you for choosing the SNL Fan Podcast. I'm your host, just some guy named Jay. And what we'll be talking about in this one is the recent episode of Saturday Night Live hosted by Kevin Hart. We'll be doing the episode review. I'll be reviewing that episode. It aired March 3rd with musical guests Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. But before I do that, I want to tell you all to check out this hot song by Mono Bagends. It's called You Drive Me Crazy, and it features singer Mela Bela on the chorus. Basically what the song is about is, when you're in a relationship and you kind of always up in each other's space, you just start to drive each other crazy, and you kind of sometimes just need that, need to give each other room. It's basically one of those songs, and it again is by Mono Baggens. I'm gonna put the information in the information box below. It has a good little, Pitbull, Flo-Rida type vibe to it. So definitely check it out. You're into a hot pop party song. This is definitely a track you need to bump. Okay, and moving on to the review. I want to say that the cold opening was great. Jay is Obama. Jay Pharaoh just keeps getting better and better. All the jokes were hitting. They had a lot of great jokes. Like I said before, it seems like the cold opening has always been, for the cold opening for this season has just been the best. Each cold opening has been great, and this was good. The different budget cuts when he made the Michelle Obama needs to scale back her television appearances, that was good. The Aidy Bryant was good in it, as the teacher. Taran Killam was great. Kate McKinnon, oh man, Kate McKinnon is definitely the future. And then Jason Sudeikis talking about the firing of the monkeys. We're gonna let some monkeys go out of the zoo and stuff. and then the horse meat, jab at like Burger King and stuff, that was good as well. These cold openings have been on fire. They just need to do the whole shit. They need to treat every whoever is writing these cold openings, they need to just take over for the rest of the show. They need to just start writing the bulk of the show, because these cold openings have been classics this season. Moving right along, I want to say, is Don Pardo still alive? Because that's definitely not his voice. Something doesn't sound right. The Don Pardo. If he died, we probably would have known something by now, I think. He's been absent for the past, at least past 4 or 5 episodes. That doesn't sound like him at all. Moving on to Kevin Hart's monologue, it was great, as expected, because stand-up comedians always do good on monologues. They come out, do their act, boom, boom. It's not a lot of singing. It's not going to be any singing and dancing. It's not going to be answering questions from the audience and things like that. It's going to be straight up, straight pure comedy. I like what Kevin Hart, even though I'm going to admit that I know it may be blasphemous to a lot of people on here when they hear this. I'm not much of a Kevin Hart fan, as far as stand-up goes. He's a good comedic actor in my opinion, but I've liked him in the shows and the movies I've seen him in, and the Real Husbands of on BET. That's pretty good, but I'm just not. He's good at describing things and telling stories and things like that, but he's just not. I know a lot of people want to compare him to Katt Williams. I guess because they're both the current reigning black comedians right now, and they're both short, by the way. But I'm more of a Katt Williams fan. I know there's apples and oranges, but a lot of I know on Twitter they always like to put those two in the same net. Want to keep mentioning their names together. But I like Katt Williams better. I think he's funnier. But definitely Kevin Hart did his thing on this monologue. And also too, I didn't know that he auditioned. I don't know if this is a joke or not. I tried to see if I could find some research on this, but he said he auditioned to be on SNL, in the past. So that's something, Yeah, it's good little information. But yeah, his whole bit about that was pretty funny too. And the Steve Harvey show, I knew ever since they did it during the Seth MacFarlane one, I knew they was going to bring this back some kind of way. Keenan did real good as him. Keenan has been improving a lot, especially with his impersonations. Because Keenan, when he first got on the show, it was like he wanted to act like he was still on Nickelodeon, but he's definitely stepped his game up as far as what he's doing. and I want him to keep doing what he's doing. Kevin's bit being afraid of the horse, that was good. Nasim did it. It's good to see Nasim in skits now. Because it seemed like the first part of the season she was kind of, she was playing Abby Elliott, like I said before. Moving along, Jason Sudeikis as Wolf Blitzer in the Situation Room, that was great. They had the jokes about the Black Pope and stuff, and going back and forth with that. Kevin Hart playing Wallis. I have a hard time saying her name. I'm not even gonna try. We've heard. The little girl who was nominated for the for Best Supporting Actress, and she actually does that with the. She actually was doing that during the Oscars, the little muscle man thing. I mean, Kevin Hart. I mean, I don't know. I didn't. Wasn't they had good jokes in it, but it was kind of a meh kind of skit. What else? Just looking over my notes here. Oh yeah, they remade. They did the coffee commercial again, the Verismo. It was good. Just a rerun, repeat. The Barnes and Noble skit. Basically this is the thing that they. This is basically just the McDonald's skit, just done at Barnes and Nobles. At this time, Kevin Hart's character had more lines than Anne Hathaway's character when they did it during the Anne Hathaway show. This is a good little character that Cecily and Bobby Moynihan have, but they need to find a better way to I don't know. I mean, if they want to have a character that's talking junk about their coworkers, I don't know. Maybe they can flip it a certain way, but really not even what they're saying, but the kind of the reactions that the other cast members are giving. That's even good. Like the little faces that the little stares that Taran Killam and Jay Pharaoh were giving. That's funny. Kevin Hart was breaking up in this skit, and it seemed like Tim Robinson was the one making him crack up. It's good to see that Tim Robinson was actually making somebody laugh for a change. I guess he made Kevin Hart laugh because Tim Robinson, he doesn't make me chuckle too much on the show. You know how I feel about him. I'm gonna make a separate podcast talking about Tim Robinson later on. Another thing I didn't really like about this skit, it was just too many bitches. They just said the B word just way too much. I mean, not saying I'm against the word. It just wasn't that. Like they kind of, worn out the welcome with saying that. But again, I do like the character, but they need to tweak it or something. Moving right along, Seth Meyers on Weekend Update. This was whack. Usually Weekend Update is one of my favorite parts of the show. Just to see what kind of jokes Seth Meyers is going to do, because he at least have a good 5 jokes that's going to hit. But he was just these were lame. These were like middle school type jokes, like something that you like one of your friends in middle school. These little immature type jokes where you're just picking at somebody. That's what they sound like. It wasn't really funny. It didn't hit. Jay Farr's little bit as Dennis Rodman, and Bobby Moynihan as Kim Jong Un. That I wasn't feeling that. I definitely wasn't. The really with Kevin Hart was stumbling all over his lines, and Seth Meyers. Seth Meyers, I don't know. It seemed like he toned himself down when he was for some reason when he was doing the jokes, because usually Seth Meyers has that kind of snarky, sarcastic kind of thing going on, but he didn't do that for some reason. He was just kind of reading off his jokes. When they did the really part, but Kevin Hart was just, oh my god, it's like, oh my, I want to say, can you read? When he was messing up on the cue cards, and he shouldn't have ad-libbed at all. He should have messed up but kind of fixed it. But kind of like what Chevy Chase sometimes used to do back in the in the 70s when he first did Weekend Update. When he kind of mess up, he'll kind of toy boat, kind of stare or stop a little bit and then do it. That's what he should have did. Don't say, oh man, I'm messing up today. You're not Johnny Carson. Don't do that. you're not Conan O'Brien. They make stuff like that funny. That wasn't really funny to me. The Walking Dead, Walking Dead. I can't read. That Kevin Hart's rubbing off on me. Now I can't read. The Walking Dead skit, that was pretty funny. Um, the part when they kept going, not to sound racist, that whole bit where Bill Hader started to say that, and Taran Killam started, stop. If you're gonna start off by saying, you're gonna start a sentence by saying not to sound racist, it probably means you're gonna say something racist. So I'm not just need to cut you off right there. One of the other funniest parts of that the Walking Dead skit was when Kevin Hart, after he got bit by the zombie and then they didn't see it and they turned around and looked at him, and that face he made where he looked like he was kind of surprised. That was probably one of the funniest parts. That face Kevin Hart made was so funny. Like he was just standing there looking at him scared, like he was like that was funny. But it just, I don't know. To me, that was funny. But yeah, the Walking Dead skit, that was pretty good. They did a lot of parodies of shows. Yeah, I like it when they do that. But I don't know. Nasim really owned that skit. She really did as playing the little boy. What was it? Playing the character, Charles. Dang, I cannot read because I'm not much of a fan of the show that AMC show. But I'm not saying it's bad or anything. But yeah, as Carl, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, Nasim did good. Uh, I know somebody's gonna comment and correct me on this, but like, dang, how you gonna be reviewing this stuff and you don't even know who the people are? But yeah, Nasim Pedrad did very good in that role. Um, Shark Tank skit, looking on the message boards, a lot of people didn't like that skit. But I kind of thought it was okay. It had some good jokes here and there. It seemed like they didn't know how to end it. They didn't know how to really. You know what? Actually, the theme of this whole, of this whole episode, it just seemed like they didn't know how to end the skits. Like they kind of just, like just slapped the ending on there. Like they just didn't know how to do it. And the Shark Tank skit, it just didn't end too well. It seemed like they were building up to funny things, and like they were building up, and then they didn't. It didn't work, you know. Um, but yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was kind of amusing. Kate McKinnon. She was the best in that Shark Tank skit. The Z shirt, that was very weak. Now what I thought they were going with that is you know how like on like you see some of these little kid commercials, like not even those little kid commercials. They have like these commercials like let me give you for an example. It's a ball in a cup. Wait a minute, it's a ball, but it's in a cup. Really? How does it work? Like how there's always got that dumb person in a commercial who just always has to ask you, really? What does this thing do? And then the main person is explaining. No, let me tell you what it is. That's what I thought they were going with that Z shirt thing. But it didn't work. It didn't work. The Dove chocolate commercial wasn't feeling that either. It was kind of funny how Kevin Hart was saying the same things Vanessa was saying, but just in a loud masculine voice, but it just didn't work. Vanessa is kind of, I don't know. I don't know about Vanessa. I'll talk more about her later. But the part where Vanessa said, "Huh," to me, I think she messed up, and I think the audience the audience kind of chuckled at that. And I think she kept doing it. Was that even on the cue card? That, huh? Was that, I don't know. It just seemed like it was just something that, you know who Vanessa puts me in the mind of? Vanessa puts me in the mind of a friend that you have that always says like the same corny joke over and over again because you laughed at it once. That's how Vanessa seems to me. Like she just says that, like she does make a funny sound or say something and you laugh and then they gotta keep saying it and then like, okay, all right. I don't know. Well, anyway, moving right along. Hey, they didn't know how to end that skit neither. uh, let's see. Well, actually, to be honest with you, the ending on that particular skit, even though they didn't know how to really end it right, it was kind of okay. To have Kevin Hart just reading it out like that. You know. Um, Yeah. I have to actually take that back. The ending on that particular skit was kind of okay, but the premise itself kind of sucked. The funeral thing. Now here's where they got me, because you remember that closet organizer skit that Will Forte did with John Hamm, where it was the closet organizer guy, and it was kind of a weird skit where he was kind of, getting stuff out the closet and things like that. And then later on, he was at a bar and he was like, "Hey, you're the closet organizer guy." Like that was a funny little twist. And it seems to me that that's what they did with this on the Z shirt thing. Is it an M shirt? Is it a? I mean, now when they brought it back like this was kind of funny, but still, it was too late for this, Let's see, the 360 news. It came on like it was going to be funny. Like I looked at this, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a good skit, And then it didn't. It ended in disaster. It was too long. What I thought they were the direction I thought they were going to go in this didn't end up being what it ended up being, because I thought what they were going to do was how Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld, when he hosted the last time he hosted, and they did that skit like something you could be watching could be hurting you right now. You find out at 11. Something, when they kept saying you have to find out at 11. I thought they were gonna do something similar to that, But even though it was gonna be kind of in the where they have the different camera angles turning around. I thought that's what they were gonna go with this, which probably would have been funnier. Well, anyway, it just didn't turn out the way that particular skit didn't turn out the way I thought it would be. Jay Pharaoh hanging up in the air with the camera, that was kind of okay, but it was whack. For the most part, it was alright to see Kevin Hart host, but it just seemed like it was kind of sloppy with the writing, and Kevin Hart, man, my God, he's so loud. Dang. Like, he's so loud and it kind of screams a lot. He's just loud. But yeah, this is, overall, it was kind of an uneven type of show. It had kind of spots of things that were funny. Like, it was, funny things here, funny things there. But overall, it just wasn't, really wasn't hitting. And they could have done a lot better. Well, that's all I'd like to say before I end this. I want to say definitely check out that Mono Bagends song. It's in the information box below. It's called "You Drive Me Crazy," and if you're a fan of like Pitbull or Flo-Rida, those type of songs, the top 40 type, you definitely love the song. Definitely something for the dance floor. So definitely check it out. And that's all I'd like to say. I'm just some guy named Jay. Good night. Have a pleasant tomorrow.